What's good, guys? Hope you're all doing well. Thank you for checking out another video. Today I just wanted to talk about some things, skills, etc. I've learned through playing card games and collecting card games, mainly to do with things like learning the value of a product, how to gauge a market, market manipulation, how to sell, how to resell, so on, so on, so on. I've been a Yu-Gi-Oh player for a long time, more than anything. I think it's been 20 or 15 years, I don't know, something like that, 15 probably, years of playing Yu-Gi-Oh! And in that time, I've learned a lot. We did a lot of selling back then to Americans, and we're Canadian, so we were selling in our favor. We also learned a lot of skills through just playing. When we started off playing, we were playing, just normal summon, a synchro. And not that synchros existed at that time, but you get the point. Normal summon a fusion. We didn't play with rules, and then we went to locals the first time and we got absolutely destroyed trying to summon in defense our Neospatian Bubble Man and attach two Megamorphs and think it doubles twice or whatever, right? We learned a lot that way. We learned social skills, how to, we got told no, and we were told we were wrong often because we didn't understand and had to be taught. Then we learned of this extremely complex game, and as the game developed and power creep came and ban lists came and crazy new archetypes and yada yada, we also developed with the strategic pace of the game. At that same time, as I said, we were selling to Americans and getting the exchange in our favor. Me and my brother started an Instagram account, which at the time was Yu-Gi-Oh! Trades 28. We now actually use it for our mat business, me and my girlfriend, that same Instagram. But it was Yu-Gi-Oh! Trades 28, and you can still see the cards that we used to sell on that page. I didn't take the posts down. We did really good. We made a lot of money for some kids, really. He had all the Astral Pack alties, all the OTS stuff. He had thousands of dollars in inventory, started doing backpack vending. I saw him learning a lot of skills that way through it. It was really awesome, really awesome. And we made a lot of money. We got to do stuff we enjoy in order to make that money. We were dealing with cards and things that were our passion. It was a lot of shipping out. It was a lot of, not the easiest work, but it was very enjoyable. Staying in the Yu-Gi-Oh! Market, I got to see a lot of development as the game developed. We saw a lot of ban lists, we saw a lot of hits, a lot of reprints, we saw a lot of cards that were once really expensive get very cheap. We saw that them stop the production of ghost rares and ultimates, which we used to trade just like it was nothing because we thought they'd never stop coming. We saw the introduction of QCRs and starlights, and we saw the market go up and down and up and down and up and down and up and down in that game like you would not believe, to the point that most players didn't like playing the game because their decks weren't safe investments, and most collectors didn't like collecting the game because their collections weren't safe investments, hence why we play Pokemon now. With that being said, it taught me a lot. It taught me a lot about how to judge a product. It taught me a lot about how to judge a market or a community or what a company is going to do based on their target audience or so on, right? So gave a lot of insight into that. And later down the line, we jumped into Pokemon, and Pokemon helped diversify that view so we could see what was going on in multiple markets, kind of like these are the TSX and this is the, the New York Stock Exchange or something like that, right? And getting into that, it is kind of true. We see in Pokemon that the cards hold value much more. They stay more expensive longer when they're actual collector pieces. The decks themselves are much cheaper because there's cheap, accessible prints, similar to the Sylveon or this Pikachu right here. There's another Pikachu in the deck that's the normal EX, or the Sylveon has another printing that's like $400, right? In Yu-Gi-Oh! You either get the one printing, or you have to wait a year and a half until the card is potentially banned or reprinted, and now it's no longer valuable. So it taught me the different ways that companies deal with their market and target market manipulation, how to deal with scalpers, because Pokemon tries to deal with scalpers, getting product in this crazy high MSRP industry for Pokemon is very difficult, so I'm learning to just play, right? Like right now, I'm just playing the game. When I win, I get a lot of store credit. I typically use the store credit to get blank mats, blank binders, blank deck boxes, so we can do our map business right now. But if I were going to open packs, that would be the only way I'd be opening packs. If I were doing Black Bolt or whatever, maybe do a pre-release or something, Not that it's for Black Bolt, but I wouldn't really be buying, $300 booster boxes or whatever. It doesn't really make sense. Same way I wouldn't really be investing so heavily into Yu-Gi-Oh! When Yu-Gi-Oh! Is such an up and down market. That being said, there's not no money to be made there. I see people doing very well on Facebook and some of the Facebook groups, but Pokemon is much safer. The items tend to stay more expensive longer, and between the two of them, I've learned a lot going into investing on actual stock markets. So I turned 25, and again, I've been playing Yu-Gi-Oh for about 15 years, give or take. And I've been playing Pokemon for maybe 1 or 2. After all this time of playing card games and, scanning collector and TCG player, price charting, watching the little chart go up and down and up and down, I've said to my friends that it feels very similar to stocks. And a lot of them laughed and said, that's not true. One of my fellow YouTubers on here, he was one of the ones that said, no way. That can't be true. Fast forward to when I turned 25, which was just in December. I started investing on his word, actually. He was the one that gave me the advice, and he said that I should invest on this app. And I downloaded the app and I started investing just to try it, because, what could go wrong? Needed something to change. Make something different, right? Yeah, so I started investing, and I'll show you guys my investment shortly here. We'll cut to it. When I started investing, I noticed how similar to card games it actually is. I noticed that the companies are similar to choosing what card you want to invest in or what set you want to invest in. The graph is similar to trying to time the price target that you want to buy on a stock to similarly buying a price target that you're looking for on a booster box or a card, right? So it wasn't really too different. I found that the transition was quite seamless. I didn't really have to learn much except for the investing lingo itself, but coming from multiple different card games where you use a lot of slang in all of them anyway, what's the difference, right? It doesn't really matter trying to learn a little bit of slang. So I've learned a lot through playing the card games. I've learned a lot about investing, for sure. I've learned a lot about what the value of a product is, market demand. Well, I've learned a lot about customer retention and how companies keep their customer base, how they view their customer base, how they react based on their target audience and what they want and what they don't want. There's a lot to learn. It's not just playing a card game and Pikachu attack Raichu. There's a lot to learn that comes with this. Similar to video games. Video games can teach you a lot. You still learn a lot of social skills. You still learn a lot of reaction. You learn a lot of things and the things that you think you don't. And this is definitely one of them. So we're going to cut to the stocks and I'll show you guys some of the money I made doing that. Alright guys, so we're here looking at my stock portfolio. This is what I've gathered since I've started playing Pokemon for the most part. We got about $12,000 accumulated, again off skills I've learned through card games. Holding for investment, again, supply and demand, figuring out what's safe investment. So when you look at my investments, a lot of them are relatively safer. If they're not, I only have like $10 in them, like retail stuff like this, which has not been doing as well. Some of my better things, like my energies and my, S&P 500 funds, my banks, they've been doing fairly well, as you can see. Palantir, Nvidia, Google, Ombridge, things that make sense. Amazon. I got a lot in this guy here, which is giving me 500 back alone. So again, a lot of skills that transferred from Pokemon cards that taught me a lot, from Yu-Gi-Oh cards that taught me a lot, and it's really good skills. This is essentially money I wouldn't have had. This is a savings account that I wouldn't have had, essentially, if I hadn't really started playing card games, because I never would have really gone down, as somebody that never really had much money, I wouldn't have really gone down that route, searching for ways to make money here, because I would have felt like it was a rich scam, or I would have felt like it was, set up against me because I don't have much money to put in, or whatever it is, right? But in reality, I was able to make this small bit in just a few months, just off of the concepts I have learned, and applied them from card games, and applied them into real life aspects, like investing, like figuring out the value of a bank, versus figuring out the value of a Pikachu card, and so on, right? So it's been really fun, been very profitable, and I think we will continue making videos like these that covers even this. This is a very big loss right here, right? This is a place I used to work called High Tide. Cabana, used to work there. Got some investor bias, took a big hit on that one, right? So show the wins and losses, but yeah, I want to continue making videos like these, just showing people that there's more to card games than meets the eye. There's a lot more skills involved. You learn a lot. Um, yeah, it's a worthwhile way to spend your time, more so above than what people would tend to realize. So, thanks for watching. Appreciate you guys, and I will catch you guys in the next one.